Hey everyone, welcome back. So today's video, again, I'm banging these out. So I've just filmed 3 in a row here. I want to do something practical for you. So the last couple of videos I've just shot for you are very kind of conceptual. They're very, personal shares, emotional. This video, I want to just give you some tools. So if you've been watching any of my videos recently, you probably know that the way I've found works best to address anxiety, but not just anxiety, really any issue you can think of. So this could be depression, this could be self-judgment, this could be all kinds of stuff, right? There's an underlying pattern to all of it, to how it operates in the nervous system. And if you're working at that level, then you can really start to transform whatever your issue is. So once you start to learn these tools and the skill set, you can really start to address whatever it is and help yourself regulate on a regular basis. Now, let's get fucking real here. The world is fucking crazy right now. It's going nuts. And I don't know when it's going to be better or when it's going to be fixed. And so, in a certain sense, we have to learn how to stay sane in an insane time, in an insane world. And, as much as a lot of anxiety is maybe based in, personal issues from the past, or just, like I said before, the nervous system learns a way of being and just kind of reiterates it and kind of reoperates it and cycles it through. There's also a piece of this, which is that it's super fucking valid for you guys to be feeling anxious with the world as crazy as it is. When our environment and our container, and I don't just mean the earth environment, but the cities, the politics, the culture, our society has just gone topsy-turvy weird and everyone's freaked out. It's totally normal and sane to feel anxious in response to that, right? So the question that I want to start answering more and more on this channel is, how do we stay sane in an insane world? And so the answer to that, again, is this work. So basically, what I teach, what I want to show you, is that whenever we're having an issue, whether it's, let's use anxiety as an example here, and we want to self-regulate, we want to feel normal, we want to come back into that that relaxed, centered, calm, clear, on point way of being, there's a way to do it. And what's going on is, anytime we have an issue, basically there's a neural path that we're firing, right? There's a whole set of associations, memories, thought loops, fears, whatever's going on that you're experiencing, right? And as that thought loop or that memory or that trigger happens, it moves through the neural path and turns into emotions, sensations, and behavior, right? And for a lot of people, that behavior is feeling really anxious or feeling really depressed or whatever it is, right? And so what we can do, and what really this is the medicine of the future, I'm just going to be straight up about it because it is, how we heal it is we interrupt the neural path. So as the thought starts to happen and it's like, boom, we put something in the way and it clears it and it stops that process from happening. Because if you don't stop it from happening, what will happen instead is anxiety or depression or all these states, they're loops. So the more anxious you feel, the more you'll feel more anxious, and the more good your brain will be, the more burned in that neural path will be at feeling anxiety. It's the same thing with depression. The more depressed you are, the more depressed you become, and the better your brain becomes at doing depression over and over and over. So this is an unconscious thing our brain is doing. So today, right now, I want to teach you 3 tools to interrupt your anxiety. Okay. And again, this applies to depression or whatever else. These are just 3 that I happen to like. I have a whole fucking toolkit of these. I'm going to do a little mini course here. Maybe I'll shoot it this weekend, sometime soon, that I want to get out to you guys. That will be, a bunch of these. I don't know how many yet, but I'm going to take the best, my favorite, the most powerful of them. I'm going to put them into a mini course so you know how to interrupt this anxiety that you're dealing with or whatever issue you're dealing with. So you have self-regulation tools to call upon whenever you need them. And these are all, I've tried all of these. I use all of these. My teachers taught me all of these. And they're all based in this science of, of memory reconsolidation. So, again, real quick, just to give you the concept here, and I'll give you the tools for a thought so the way memory is not like a video recording or a camera. It's not factual one-to-one. As far as we know, where it's like my brain recorded that, and then anytime I want to recall it, it just replays. It's not how it works. How memory actually works is we have these neural patterns, these neural circuits underneath the surface that won't change as long as we're not thinking about them. But when we recall the memory, it lifts it out of storage, if you will, lifts it to the surface. And there's a window there of about 5 hours where you can interrupt and rewire that neural path. Generally speaking, when most people recall a memory, they don't. They just recall the memory. So what memory actually is, instead of a recording, is more like CGI. So where a recording is a perfect, faithful reproduction of a camera capturing something. Actually, what memory is more like we regenerate from scratch the memory every time we recall it. And often what they found is the more you recall it, the memory even on its own will kind of mutate a little bit. So I'm contradicting myself a little bit. I just said it doesn't really change. I would argue that it doesn't change dramatically, but it will change and mutate over time the more you recall a memory. But it's trying to generate a new memory every time. So here's what we do. You go in and you recall the memory, we interrupt it, we rewire that memory, and then, over the next 5 hours, it'll settle back into your nervous system, rewired and new. So that's the work. That's what I'm teaching you here. That's what I'm offering you here. It's fast, it's effective as fuck, and it's grounded in science. It's practical. It's not just theory like a lot of psychology, and can be applied to just about every issue. Like the theory, the standing theory right now, getting excited, is that this is the fundamental process that's always happening every single time there is a successful therapeutic intervention of any kind. This is what it underscores, IFS, EMDR, NLP, hypnosis, CBT when it works, psychotherapy when it works, depth psychology and Jungian approaches when it works. The underlying thing that's always happening is this pattern. Anyways, let me teach you 3 techniques so you can start to just interrupt the pattern, feel better. Okay, here's the first one. We're going for the swish. So this is a pattern based on classical NLP. Neuro-linguistic programming, for anyone who's not familiar, not natural language processing. We're not doing AI here. So in NLP, we have something called the swish pattern, and it goes like this. You want to imagine whatever the fear or the anxiety is, like a picture or a sound or a feeling that's right in front of you, right? So generally people close their eyes for this because it's easier to visualize that way. You can do it with your eyes open though too. Visualize whatever picture you want to use of the problem you're dealing with, right? And then you want to imagine far off, a lot of people like to use the bottom right-hand corner, maybe the size of a postage stamp, a picture of the way you want to feel, of the you that feels the way you want to feel. So if you're anxious and how you want to feel is relaxed and at ease, or if you are depressed and how you want to feel is vivid and full of life, then do the following. Make the picture of how you're feeling now kind of in front of you. Make the little picture far off in the distance of who you want to become or how you want to feel. This also, again, works for personal transformation and like rewiring your identity. And you have that little picture zoom up and swoosh into the big picture and overcome it and bust through it and destroy the old picture. So let's say this original picture is anxiety. And as it's busting through it, make the anxiety picture black and white. And, make it, I don't know, like smaller. And then as you're making the new picture, let's say it's of you feeling totally free from anxiety and at peace and relaxed and at ease, make it come from far away and boom and bust through it. Make the new picture way bigger, like a billboard, right? Make it in color. Make it really rich and clear and in focus and vibrant. And you want to do that like 10 times in a row. So you go boom, 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 over and over and over 10 times. This is called the swish, right? So we're swishing from, feeling we don't want to feel to boom, feeling we want to feel. Now there's a trick to this. For this to work right, and I got to shout out Damon Cart here, and his channel used to be called NLP Gym. I think now it's called, I'm sorry, Damon, I forgot what it's rebranded. He's awesome. He's a great NLP practitioner, and I've learned a lot from him as well. There's a trick to this, and that is that when you have that new picture of you feeling the way you want to feel come in, instead of being in your body in a first person, like through your eyes point of view, you want to see yourself third person, like you're a fly on the wall watching yourself feel good, right? So I did this, side note, maybe I'll make another video about this. I did this. I was having anxiety and panic attacks while I was driving for years. For like 2 or 3 years, I would get on the freeway, and I used to live in the Bay Area, and there's bridges all over the Bay Area in California. And I would have to drive over these bridges, and I would have vertigo. I would have extreme anxiety and panic attacks where I would get dizzy, and I'd be driving next to large trucks and, like semis and shit, and people speeding around me. And like, I'm dizzy and I can't see very well, and I'm like freaked out. This process healed that in one session. So this shit's powerful, just FYI. I've also used it to do massive personality changes. So this is also useful, again, for rewiring yourself. So, but the trick is you need to end on that third person picture of yourself. If you're seeing it through your own eyes, it's not going to work nearly as well. So again, trick number 1, swish. Picture of whatever you want, that represents the anxiety or the depression or the problem you want to overcome. Imagine a little picture off in the corner. Zoom, it comes and it busts through, and it's like a billboard, and it's of you, feeling the way you want to feel. Do that 10 times in a row. Notice how you feel afterwards. Now, here's probably what's at very least going to happen. By running this process, your brain can't still be holding on to the anxiety or the depression or whatever it is you're experiencing. So it's got to let it go, because you're fucking telling it. You're sending a message to the unconscious mind, because the unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between the picture that you're making and reality. That's one of the weird things about the unconscious and the deeper parts of the brain. It can't tell the difference between visualization and reality. So when we use visualization, you're sending a message to it that its reality is different than it thought it was. So you, boom, blow up this, blow through the other picture, have this huge billboard of you, third person, feeling the way you want to feel, doing the thing you want to do it 10 times. And I promise you, you will start to feel a change of some sort. Do that for days in a row or multiple times in a day. It's powerful shit. So that's the first one. Again, I've got 3 of these today, and I've got a mini course coming up. So if that's of interest to you, let me know below. Okay, moving on to the second one. Second one, there is plenty of science around this. This is a thing. This is real. And there are multiple ways you can go about this. I'm going to teach you the concept, and then you can play around with the way that it works best for you. This is great for if you have an anxiety in public. So, let's say you're in a place and you can't do some deep visualization process or whatever. You're standing in line somewhere, or you're shopping, or whatever. You're out and about. This works really well. So this is called bilateral stimulation. You may have heard of it. There's a technique called EMDR that works on the same process. So basically, this is self-EMDR. This is a mild version though. So what you can do, basically, the idea is this. When you have anxiety or OCD or depression, it's usually one region of the brain that's overactive and overstimulated, while other parts of the brain aren't really active. So what you can do is, simply cross the center line of your body with a thing, an object. So, grab, in this case, I'm not going to use that because that'll switch off the recording. I'm going to grab my wallet here. Grab the wallet or your keys or a tennis ball or a piece of fruit, or it doesn't matter what. Grab a thing, pass it back and forth across the center line of your body. That's it. And if you really want to really do the thing, just focus on the feeling of the anxiety in the body. Like, where do you feel anxiety? Do you feel it, in your shoulders, in your gut, your chest, your throat? head tension, I don't know, calf tension. I mean, who knows? Everyone does anxiety a little differently. But this is all you do. You just hang out for a couple minutes, like a minute, 2 minutes like this. And what will happen is it won't be dramatic, but you'll just feel like a subtle clearing, just a subtle relaxation, resetting of the filter, the kind of anxiety, whatever, state you were in will just kind of like chill. I can already feel it as I'm doing this. So you just do this, right? You can use any object, so you can do it that way. You can pat right, left on your legs. You could go. You can, walking does this too. This is part of why walking and taking walks is good for people for mental health. I tend to find walking less so because we can walk and still be pretty stressed out, but it will do it. You can do stuff like draw a line back and forth on your forehead. It's a weird one, but it kind of works because it's very physical. You can do stuff. There's music that's called bilateral stimulation music, where it's just left, right, left, right, left, right. Listen to that for 20 minutes. All of these work, but the point is, this is something you can do anywhere you go, and it's really effective for resetting the filter. So bilateral stimulation is trick number 2. Trick number 3, I've got the phone here and then I've got my screen behind it, so I'm kind of leaning around it to see what the next thing is. The next thing is kind of a newer technique to me. Some of you might be familiar with it. There's plenty of neuroscience to back this up. This is also a real thing. The way it seems to work is that when we are anxious or stressed out, the amygdala is hyperstimulated, hyperactivated. And generally what's happening with the neural path is we have whatever thought creates a neural path through, I think it's calcium bonds. I need to learn the science better, but I'm pretty sure it's calcium bonds to the amygdala, right? So what this does, for whatever reason, is increase delta waves in the brain, which are the waves that we use when we're in deep sleep and healing and rest and repair. And it seems to break these bonds in the amygdala. So this is called havening. And the idea is you're basically creating, I'm all amped up and excited from doing videos. And this is a total like chill out thing. So my energy is a little mismatched to the technique here. But this basically what this does is you're self-soothing. So through havening, and there's particular nerve cells here on the sides of the arms, on our face, and also on the palms of our hands that are particularly receptive to this type of soothing. So what you do is you think of the anxiety, you notice sensation wherever it is in the body, right? And then you do one of 3 or all 3 of these movements. So the first one would be you rub your palms together gently. By the way, I think I mentioned that I started doing Thursday night free anxiety release sessions on Zoom. If you're interested in joining, it's free. It's about an hour, give or take usually. And I would love to have you on. So if you're interested in learning more of these techniques and kind of playing around with it, workshopping it, talking about it, building community around it, let me know. Leave a message in the comments below, and I will send you the Zoom link, and you're welcome to join. I would love to have you there. So just do this for a little while. And then a lot of people do this. And you just think about, the anxiety or whatever thoughts start to trigger the anxiety. And this literally rewires your brain. This literally breaks the neural path. And you can just do it, if you're on the go and you can pull aside for not an hour, a minute, 30 seconds, a couple minutes, and just do this, to self-soothe throughout the day. This is very, very effective. This will change your life, just doing this. And then the third one, and some people find this the most powerful, just lightly run your fingers down your forehead, down your hairline, down the sides of your face, down your nose, if you're comfortable touching your face. You might want to wash your hands first if your hands have dirt on them. And this is obviously very like doting parent, sweet nurturing parent kind of energy. So depending on you and what your parents were like, you may not have gotten this kind of touch in your life. And this might bring up a little bit of feelings about that. Or this might just be the beginning of a kind of self-healing, self-loving practice that you can do to start to send a self-loving message to your nervous system to let it know that you love yourself, that you are tending to and caring for your own sense of well-being, sense of self-regulation, sense of safety in the nervous system. I found that it's a big deal. So that's the third one. I just want to kind of follow that thought for a second. I found that sending messages of safety and healing to your own body, to the deeper part of your brain, to the inner child or the older part of you that's younger, that's dealing with navigating life, with being an adult, with being freaked out by everything going on, by just reconnecting to that part of yourself and saying, hey, the adult in you is here now and loves you, and I care about you, and I'm going to help you self-soothe. I'm going to help you relax. I found that has really started to bump up my sense of self-love. That what started to happen over time, the more I would do these practices, as I would just be going about my day, and I would have a message come up from inside myself, from like the deeper part of me, that was just deep gratitude for the way I was showing up for myself. So if you're someone who struggles with self-love, self-criticism, you have some sort of healing to do around childhood issues, this stuff is amazing. It's really going to transform your relationship with yourself. But not only that, it also helps you get out of anxiety, out of fear, out of overwhelm, and helps you self-regulate. So these are 3 tools, again, I've probably got 20 or more, tools that I know work very well for self-regulation. So there you go. So I hope that serves you well. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, just a refresher, little recap. We've got the swish, we've got the bilateral stimulation, and we've got the havening, right? So try all 3 out, see which one works for you, if any of them. And if none of them work out for you, don't be disheartened. There's plenty more tools. There are many ways to interrupt that neural pattern of anxiety. But the point is, just start doing this. And you might find at first that you need to do it multiple times a day. That you need to be really proactive about applying these often enough to start to interrupt that program long enough for your brain to start to get the message, oh, we're not going there anymore. But just keep doing it. See what happens. And if this is your jam, if you like this kind of thing, let me know. First of all, I'd appreciate it, just the feedback, but also heads up, I'm making, again, a mini course for you to download that will be a fuller example and a fuller teaching on this. So you'll have much more tools, in your tool belt to play with and explore. And then from there, I'll probably do a more full-on anxiety course, like how to really rewire your brain around this stuff. And then I'll be doing other stuff as well. So there's more content on the way here if this is your kind of thing. So anyways, big love to you all. Wishing you all the best. And thanks for watching. All right. Take care.